Every great athlete eventually reaches a point where emotions begin to show. Throughout basketball history, we've seen intense conversations between superstar players and their coaches. Competitors who expect excellence often challenge ideas on the court, especially when every possession matters. Now, fans believe they may have witnessed one of those moments involving Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. A recently circulated sideline clip has sparked a wave of discussion across the basketball community. Some viewers believe Clark was simply explaining her perspective during a timeout, while others think the exchange reflected growing frustration. Whatever your interpretation, the footage has quickly become one of the biggest talking points of the WNBA season. The timing makes the conversation even more interesting. Indiana had just earned an impressive 89-78 victory over the Seattle Storm. Clark played a major role in the win, finishing with 21 points and 10 assists while controlling the tempo for much of the game. She looked confident, aggressive, and completely in command whenever the ball was in her hands. During long stretches of the first half, the Fever offense appeared to move with greater pace and freedom. Clark consistently pushed the ball in transition, created open looks for teammates, and kept Seattle's defense guessing. Her ability to recognize opportunities before they fully developed once again reminded fans why she is considered one of basketball's brightest young stars. But despite the comfortable victory, cameras eventually focused on an animated discussion taking place near the Indiana bench. The brief exchange immediately caught the attention of viewers. Clark appeared engaged in conversation with members of the coaching staff, using expressive hand gestures while explaining something. Because no audio from the discussion is available, nobody outside the team truly knows what was being said.
With her coaches, she looks like she's done with their BS and attempt to micromanage everything she does. This coaching staff is not fit to coach a modern style player. Let's watch this. So this is the video. Caitlin Clark is going off, bro.
As the video continues, the discussion on the sideline becomes even more noticeable. Caitlin Clark appears focused and engaged, speaking with intensity while using her hands to emphasize her point. The coaching staff responds, and for several seconds the exchange looks serious enough to capture the attention of everyone watching. Without audio, it's impossible to know exactly what was being said. That hasn't stopped basketball fans from studying every frame of the clip. Some viewers believe Clark was explaining why she made a particular read on the court. Others think she was discussing offensive spacing or questioning a play call. There are also fans who see nothing unusual at all, arguing that this is exactly how passionate competitors communicate during high-pressure games. What everyone seems to agree on is that Clark wasn't showing a lack of effort or emotion. If anything, she looked completely invested in helping her team succeed. That's one of the qualities that has made her such a special player throughout her career. From high school to Iowa and now the WNBA, Clark has built a reputation as someone who constantly analyzes the game in real time. She reads defenses quickly, recognizes passing lanes before they fully open, and isn't afraid to make aggressive decisions if she believes they'll create a better scoring opportunity. Players with that type of basketball IQ often have detailed conversations with coaches during games. It's part of the process of making adjustments and finding ways to win. Of course, because Caitlin Clark attracts enormous attention, even an ordinary basketball discussion can quickly become a viral story. Within minutes, social media was filled with different opinions. Some fans praised Clark's competitive fire, saying they loved seeing a franchise player actively involved in strategic discussions. Others believed the exchange looked more emotional than usual and wondered if frustration had been building over several games.
And she kept talking to her, and she's still snapping on her, bro. Snapping on him, bro. Keep that energy. Demon. Please delete this. It's going to turn against CC. You new to this? I don't think this should be deleted, bro. I don't. Because we know.
As the conversation surrounding the sideline footage continued, fans began connecting it to other moments from Indiana's season. Every coaching decision, substitution, and late-game play call was suddenly being revisited through a new lens. Whether those connections are fair or not is open to debate, but they show just how much attention Caitlin Clark receives every time she steps on the floor. Throughout the season, Clark has delivered several standout performances that reminded everyone why she was considered a generational talent entering the WNBA. She's taken over games with her scoring, created easy baskets for teammates with pinpoint passing, and repeatedly shown the ability to change the pace of a game within just a few possessions. Those performances have naturally raised expectations among fans. Supporters want to see the offense built around Clark's strengths, fast decision-making, deep shooting range, quick ball movement, and creative playmaking. When a Fever play with speed and spacing, many fans believe the team looks more comfortable and dangerous. At the same time, coaching a professional basketball team is rarely simple. A coaching staff has to balance multiple personalities, develop young players, manage rotations, and prepare for different opponents every single night. Not every decision will be popular, especially during a long season filled with adjustments. That reality has created plenty of discussion online. Some fans believe the Fever should give Clark even more freedom to control the offense. Others argue that building a successful team requires structure, discipline, and contributions from every player on the roster. The sideline footage has only added more fuel to that debate. Comment sections quickly filled with thousands of opinions. Some viewers praised Clark's competitive leadership, saying they appreciated seeing a player who wasn't afraid to communicate openly during a game. Others felt people were reading far too much into
complete game we've seen from Caitlin probably in the 10 months, and her return only needed a couple threes, only 5 shots, led in every one of those categories. What to you seems like the most back or the furthest along maybe in her time back?
I think her burst. I think her burst. I think you can see it not just in taking off with the ball in her hands, but you can see it in the lift in her shot. You can see she looks strong. She looks like loaded in her actions. I think you can tell it by the way she's getting to the free throw line too. So I just think her movement patterns and her burst are back.
Following the game, much of the attention shifted from the court to the post-game press conference. Reporters wanted to know how the team viewed another strong performance from Caitlin Clark and whether the growing conversations surrounding the Fever would be addressed. Stephanie White spoke positively about Clark's performance, highlighting improvements in her movement, energy, and overall rhythm on the court. She noted that Clark looked stronger, more explosive, and increasingly comfortable as the season continued. Those comments immediately sparked another round of discussion among fans. Some supporters viewed the praise as a positive sign that the coaching staff recognized Clark's impact and the progress she had made. Others believed the comments didn't fully capture everything Clark contributed during the game, especially her leadership with the ball in her hands and her ability to create scoring opportunities for teammates. It's a reminder that fans often focus on different parts of a player's performance. Some value scoring above everything else. Others pay closer attention to playmaking, decision-making, floor spacing, and leadership. Clark's game combines all of those elements, which is why discussions about her performances tend to generate so much interest. The sideline interaction only intensified those conversations. For many viewers, the biggest question wasn't whether Clark had another great statistical night. It was whether everyone inside the organization shared the same vision for how the team should play. Building a championship-level team takes more than talent alone. It requires trust between players and coaches, clear communication, and a willingness to make adjustments as the season unfolds. Every successful franchise goes through moments where ideas are challenged and expectations are tested. Sometimes those conversations happen quietly behind closed doors. Other times, television cameras happen to catch a brief exchange that instant.
Having 5 people on a stream. 20 minutes left.
What'd you like about seeing that starting group, and kind of to that end, you've changed your rotation up every single game to some extent. What do you feel like you're still trying to learn with this group this year?
Well, we're 4 games in with a lot of new pieces, so we're trying to figure out what the best combination of players is for the best net outcome. We know we got people that can score. We got some players that can defend, but we've got to have consistency throughout the course of the game. So we're trying to figure that out.
As the Fever continue working through the season, one thing has become clear. Every decision the coaching staff makes will be closely examined. Rotations, substitutions, offensive sets, and late-game strategies are all under the microscope because expectations surrounding this team have never been higher. After one game, Coach Stephanie White explained that the Fever were still evaluating different lineup combinations and learning how their new pieces fit together. That's a normal part of any season, especially for a team trying to build chemistry while competing at the highest level. Still, not every fan is satisfied with that explanation. Many supporters believe the team's offense looks its best when Caitlin Clark is allowed to play with pace, push the ball in transition, and make quick decisions based on what she sees on the floor. They point to stretches where Indiana's offense appears more fluid and unpredictable, arguing that Clark's natural instincts are one of the team's greatest strengths. Others take a different view. They believe developing a winning team requires patience, structure, and a system that allows every player to contribute. From that perspective, balancing individual talent with overall team strategy is one of the biggest challenges any coaching staff faces during a long WNBA season. That's why the recent sideline footage has generated so much attention. To some fans, it showed a player who cares deeply about winning and isn't afraid to communicate during emotional moments. To others, it simply reflected the normal give and take that happens between coaches and players throughout a competitive game. Without hearing the actual conversation, it's impossible to know exactly what was discussed. What we do know is that Caitlin Clark continues to be one of the most exciting players in basketball. Every game she plays attracts enormous attention, and every moment involving the Fever quickly becomes a topic of conversation across social media, sports shows, and fan communities. As the season moves forward, the spotlight on Indiana will only grow brighter. Can the Fever continue building chemistry? Will the offense become even more dynamic? And how will the relationship between players and coaches evolve as the team faces tougher competition? Those are the questions fans will be watching closely in the weeks ahead. Now it's your turn. What do you think the sideline conversation was really about? Was it simply two competitive basketball minds discussing strategy? Or do you think fans are reading too much into a brief moment captured on camera? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more WNBA analysis, player stories, and game highlights, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks for watching WNBA.